All right, like I mentioned, welcome to Chrono Trigger Jets of Time. We've got our winners bracket semi-final race for our Alphador Derby Challenge, which we've been working on over the past month, all of September. We've had this amazing tournament run. We've got Lord Batsy versus I'm All In, who are going head-to-head this evening to determine which one is moving forward into the finals round. They'll be competing against the lower bracket, the Earthbound Island bracket, where we've got Naderade and One Free Fritz, who will be duking it out later to determine who goes ahead. Super exciting race today. If you haven't checked it out, a Chrono Trigger randomizer before, it's a really fantastic game. I'll be doing my best to explain some of the tech, routing, decision makings, and all the things happening in this. I'm being told that Nate and Fitz did their match yesterday. I was there for that. Oh, the challenge hasn't been updated yet. I think it was Nate that took that win. That's right. Shame on me for trusting a website to have updated information. No, we got a hard-working crew of people behind the scenes putting this tournament on for us, and all of them deserve the utmost credit for all the hard work they've been putting in. So I think we're just waiting for the go-ahead for our runners. Looks like everything is set and cropped correctly. Both seeds are set up. As soon as we start to see some timers count down, we'll be on our way. So the way Chrono Trigger Randomizer works is that both of our runners will have to get to the end of the game. There's two different end bosses that count for completion. One of them is Zeal 2, which you fight at the top of Black Omen. The other one is the traditional Lavos end, which you can get to a couple different ways. So we'll talk about go modes as we get to those points in the game, but you'll see in the very beginning, both of our runners will probably have a little bit of divergence as they go to pick up some items, which they're going to need, especially in the early game, to try and help them get started. The flag set we have for this match is a hard item flag set. So we have a boss randomizer on. All right, looks like the game is off. I see a Morrow and a Luca start. Two pretty decent magic users if they get text going. Looks like there's a bit of a desync. So hopefully there's somebody on the back end that can help me with a desync. It seems like I don't have audio either. Stand by. Let me see if I can get some audio for this. Audio coming from end side just a little low. Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to get a sync going here. Yep. Okay, since I'm the only one here at the moment, I'm going to try and keep track of what's going on screen, and I'll catch up with the sync in a second, since there's time to get them caught up halfway through the seed. So, they're both in Guardia Forest, which is one of our early grind spots to unlock the first couple techs, which are going to be some pretty big indicators for our runners as they figure out where to go next. I'm sure right now they're looking for a screen clear. Hopefully, one of the two ladies on our team, the character ladies that is, Luca and Morrow, picks up their number 2 tech of their element, either ice or fire. which will allow him to make some pretty early progress in some of the other checks that we're likely to see. See Mega Bomb and Provoke. So I think we've got at least one tech that's got some AoE on it. How do I find, let's see. Got one of my other community members trying to help me out here, which I greatly appreciate. Batsy's starting her shopping trip, looking for ethers, tonics, revives, shelters, some of the core items we need at the beginning of the game to make sure we can clear some dungeons. So with hard item flag set, what that means is the base values of items are not consistent. They start at a base value, but they alter based on a percentage. I think it's down like a 75%, not a drop, maybe a 25% decrease to maybe 150% increase. I see there's a gate key on the snail stop, so I'm sure both of our runners will want to come back for that. The snail stop item costs 9,900 gold, and our runners only start with 10,000. So there's a pretty distinct choice they have to make between getting that first key item or getting some of the other consumable items they need to keep going. But both of these runners are very skilled, and will be doing a bunch of checks quickly and probably circle back to get the gate key after selling some things that they don't need. Lord Batsy doing the tools check next. As both runners take a very similar path. It looks like we have a clone as the key item from tools. Yep, looks like we've got a sync going, so Batsy's not frozen. We're just pausing a stream to get a sync in play, so that way the timers line up. We can have a better comparison of who's where. Right, so we know a clone's in play. We know a gate key is in play but not collected yet. Thank you to my backup who helped me with the sync. And it looks like Lord Batsy has not gotten the gate key yet and is going to Frog's Burrow to check the character here, and it's an Ayla in the burrow. Sometimes good, sometimes bad to see her in that spot, because that's one character check that requires 2 other key items in order to access. So knowing you're not going to get Ayla this seed is probably a bit of a bummer, because the all-girls team is one of the popular teams that is used in this randomizer. As N is the first into Cathedral. About to go see who the free character is in the Cathedral drops. Batsy entering the Cathedral on her side. And N finds a Magus in Cathedral. That's a very strong character to have in a starting location. Magus usually not unlockable until late game in vanilla. Having him as an early party comp is fantastic. He starts with some really strong items, has the potential to learn all of the elemental magic on his own, and does not need to go visit the End of Time to unlock magic. Unlike Luca and Marl, who will only learn 3 techs in the randomizer before requiring to go to End of Time. Fortunately, both of our runners know where the gate key is, so End of Time access is not going to be difficult for them. They just got to earn a little bit of money take the gate key, and they'll have access to End of Time right away. I think I see Ether's at 13 MP, which is really good. The default Ether is 10 MP. So the fact that you have a 13 MP Ether gets you a little bit more of a bonus than you usually would have. I think I've seen a Cure 2 and a Provoke on Marl's side. Looks like Luca has her Fire 2, which is one of her best techs because it gets you the most synergy if you're looking for double techs. And I don't know if we've seen what Magus's first couple techs are yet. Looks like N hit an extra unintentional fight on their way out of Cathedral. We'll slow them down just a little bit, but a quick runaway and they're back on course. Lord Batsy in the Bromide room, clearing out the 3 hench there, about to pick up her Bromide. The Bromide's a really easy pickup early. Not only are there 3 chests in that room, the Bromide itself you can take to a house in 600 AD and get 3 speed tabs for free. Both runners following a very similar path here. Neither one deciding to go to the back of Cathedral, where there is a boss and another character check. Fighting Magus early means that they may not be looking for another character, but it also depends on what techs are unlocked in what order. And taking an early dip into Desert. Looks like they're not there for the grind. Looks like they're there for item collections. Desert is one of the spots that's got a lot of mid to high tier chests in it. So they're hoping to get some early items that they can find to sell in order to get the money they need to pick up that gate key. As chat's pointing out, there's a really good chance that both of our characters, as they get the gate key unlocked and make their way to Prehistoria, 65 million BC, they'll probably be going to Dactyl Nest. Dactyl Nest is another character location, and that character starts at level 15 with techs unlocked. So it'll be a really good, easy early power boost for both of our runners as they make their way through this seed. Finding some decent armor and a flash mail and a lumen robe. Gotta love seeing a mirrored seed here as both of our runners go into and out of Desert. $52 MP on a mid-ether is insane. Welcome, Raiders. Looks like we got a raid from Free Enterprise. Thank you so much. Hope you had a fantastic stream. Welcome, everybody, to SpeedGaming as we showcase the Jets of Time randomizer for Chrono Trigger. Both of our runners are doing some shopping, and by shopping, it's more of a selling, trying to get that 9,000 gold they need to purchase that gate key. Yep, as both runners take the exact same route, grabbing a gate key and immediately going to unlock it. It takes you to the gate in Prehistoria And all you gotta do is run back around, and it drops you back off at the end of time. Lord Batsy taking an extra stop to grab one more chest, and gets a silver earring for her troubles. That may get some play here. And showing off the Frog Specchio, the lowest form of Specchio we can get, as he works to unlock magic. Lord Batsy going back in time, checking which normal rock location is this? I think this is the blue rock location. The new in the burned down village gets a gold rock, non-modified. As N makes their way back to 1000 AD, potentially going into Hecarim Cave here. Nope. Just going to get her Epoch. Looks like N's making his way up to Dactyl Nest, as Batsy is already starting the Dactyl Nest climb. And we'll shortly find out what character we have at the top of Dactyl Nest. N picks up his gold rock from the new. So, since we've got two pieces of Go mode, I can take a little bit of time and talk about those. If you look at the tracker, right underneath the three first character slots, Chrono, Luca, and Marl, those are our 9 Go mode items. So each row represents a different Go mode. So on the top row, right underneath the characters, you've got the Bent Hilt, the Bent Sword, and Melkor, who represents reforging the sword. For that Go mode, you also need the Frog character, because with both pieces of the sword, after it's repaired, Frog will cut open the mountain, the magic cave, leading into Magus' castle. Magus' castle being one of the pre-dungeons going into Go mode, which will take you through Ocean Palace and into Lavos. Below that, it's the Gate Key, which we already have unlocked, the Dreamstone, and the Ruby Knife, which takes you into Prehistoria, fighting through Tyranno Lair into Ocean Palace and Lavos that way. And it looks like Chrono is at the top of Dactyl Nest. I don't know if both of our characters will be happy to have a Chrono in their party. In a hard item set, Chrono is pretty item dependent, definitely needing a good sword in order to make the most use of his innate power in this game. But there's plenty of time for them to potentially find something good. Lord Batsy with Chrono is now going to unlock magic, taking the traditional party, Chrono, Luca, and Marl, and getting the magic unlock. Speaking of Chrono, the last Go mode we have, that very bottom row, includes the Pendant, the Clone, and the C Trigger, which allows you to climb Death Peak, watch the sequence at the top of Death Peak, and then proceed through the Black Omen and fight Zeal 2 as your final boss. So because the Black Omen is such a long dungeon, and it's filled with bosses, we just decided to make that, you know what, once you beat Zeal 2, you've completed the end of the game. You don't have to fight Lavos after that, because that would just take too much time. So, we'll see which Go mode we get here as our runners proceed, and it could be likely, depending on where the items fall, that they may end up in 2 different Go modes, which we've seen several times already in this tournament. So now that both of our characters are armed with magic and unlocks. I see Lightning 2, Luminaire, Cyclone on Chrono. And I think that was a life in his 4th spot. And is already in Heckman Cave, using that unlocked magic to get some early tech points. Heckman Cave being one of the early grind spots, or early level spots, because all the monsters in here give you more tech points than they usually would. So it's a great place to unlock some techs in the early game to get you some early power and early access. And since we already have a screen clear with Lucas Fire 2, it's a easy play to do right away. I see Batsy is peeking the Xenon Bridge item, doing the setup by talking to the guard and then going down to the kitchen to see what it is. This is one of the few checks in the game where we can peek and not commit to, because once you see what the item is, you can just soft reset if it's not something you want. Let's see what the chef has to offer us today. He gives us a prism shard. Looks like Batsy is electing to keep the prism shard. Prism shard being a turn in, unlocking the Guardia trial sequence for the King of Guardia. And since we already have Marl, it makes sense because that's another key item you can get and you don't have to go find a character to get it. So now we've got some divergence. En is working his way through Heckman Cave while Batsy takes on Xenon Bridge. As both screens showing off Lightning 2, one by Magus and one by Chrono. Marl picks up an Aura. And tries to get the bat skip in Heckman. Wasn't able to get it. And I think that's a Hyper Ether drop on the bridge. Yep, those are Hyper Ether and Big Hand -3 drops. So Hyper Ethers will be really good for late game, and the Big Hands will be great for money if they need extra money. So very valuable play that Batsy's doing right early on. And I think I saw Magus unlock his Fire 2 as his second tech. And Lord Batsy runs into Massa and Mune on Xenon Bridge. Xenon Bridge location is not too difficult, but Massa and Mune can be a pretty challenging boss. But I think with the power that these teams have, Chrono already having Luminaire, Luca having Mega Bomb and Fire 2, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem for Batsy to take him out. And on N's side, he runs into a Slash in Heckman Cave. Both of our runners fighting back-to-back bosses, 21 minutes and 40 seconds into the seed. Doing fantastic work so far. I don't anticipate that either one of these runners will have any challenges with the boss they've got. They're both very well-skilled with strong party comps. and we'll get to see 2 more key items after each of these bosses fall. 90 HP revives as well. That is a very nice revive. Revives are usually 50 HP, which can put you in a somewhat tough spot. But a 90 HP revive is... That's practically a normal revive and a normal tonic. There's a haste coming from somewhere. I think Marl might have haste as her 3rd or 4th tech. As Lord Batsy goes to trigger the Prism Shard. And she'll probably take a quick peek into that dungeon and see what's down there. Xenon Bridge boss was Massa and Mune. Lord Batsy doing probably the best check in the game, taking a quick nap in Chronos' house, and remembering to pet Chronos' cat. That's how we validate our seeds here in the Jets of Time community. Always got to pet the cat. And we have it on the tracker for exactly that reason. As N defeats Slash, takes the Warp Pond out of Hecarim Cave, and is going to go visit Luca's dad, Tabin, and pick up the C trigger out of Hecarim Cave. As Lord Batsy is entering Hecarim Cave now, I don't think she peeked what the Guardia Castle item was, but seeing the C trigger and the clone, that's 2 out of 3 for a go mode. So we might be seeing some Black Omen go modes in this race. As N travels back to 600 AD, let's see where he goes. Looks like the runners are swapping as N goes to Guardia Castle to do Xenon Bridge, and Lord Batsy goes through Hecarim Cave. So both runners are about to gain the knowledge that the other runners got as they follow in each other's footsteps. So as far as open item locations, we know there's a character in the back of Minoria. It might be good to see Robo back there, because while the desert is open to us, we don't get the key item from desert unless we have Robo in the party. Denadoro Mountain is also a free open check, so that's available to both of our runners, as well as Reptite Lair back in Prehistoria. Because we have Marl in the party, we also have the Guardia Castle check, the Guardia Basement check, so we could see a pendant in that location as well. There's also a few fetch quest items, we can call them. We could find Thomas Pop, which would open up Giant's Claw, and then after Giant's Claw, you could find the pendant or something else. So it really depends on what we see next and where our runners go. Pendant being required to access the future, which opens up several more key item checks. The pendant will automatically be charged upon reaching the future, so all of the sealed doors and sealed chests will be accessible at that point. So Magus get a Dark Bomb. as N begins his Masa and Mune fight. And Lord Batsy goes back to encounter slash. This mirror race is fantastic, right? It's like two sides of the same coin and then they just flip. So we'll soon be in a spot where both of our runners have the exact same amount of knowledge, the exact same key items unlocked, and then it'll determine where they go next. I anticipate seeing a Prism Shard check pretty early, because that's quicker than climbing Denadoro. While both of these runners are very skilled at Denadoro Mountain, there's a lot of skips they can do to not hit many encounters. It's just a bit longer to climb Denadoro than it is to just go down to a basement, fight a single boss, skip a couple mobs, and get a key item right away. So Marl does have haste and aura. I think that's her 3 and 4 techs. Luca's got a protect in her 3rd slot. As N easily takes out Masa Mune on the bridge. Sets up his Prism Shard. So we might be seeing that next from him. As N makes his way to 1000 AD. And he dives straight into Guardia Castle. Will he go up or will he go down? Up takes him up to the trial on the boss. Down takes him to go peek the item first. But both of our characters have the C trigger and the Prism Shard. So they're effectively in the same spot. Looks like N goes down to the basement first to see what the item is. There's also 6 extra checks in the basement, which have some pretty good loot in them. I saw a Mega Blast, I saw a Star Scythe. I think both of them had minuses on them though, which means they're a little bit weaker than their normal versions would be, but they're still probably upgrades, especially since we're rocking a Luca and a Magus already. And it's a Hero's Medal in the Guardia basement. Hero's Medal not being too bad, because Hero's Medal you can turn in Frog's Burrow to get another key item right away. But when you take the Hero's Medal, it triggers the trial sequence, so they're committed to doing this boss. As N makes their way up to the boss fight after picking up a Lapis for 26 MP. So Lapises in the vanilla game would usually be 200 HP for your whole party, but in the randomizer, they can be HP or MP, and the values are different. So having a Lapis at 26 MP is good for restoring MP to your party, but oftentimes runners may like having the safety of a full party heal without having to use tech points or without having to use a magic spell to do it. Lord Batsy clears out Heckman Cave and picks up her C trigger. For the purposes of this run, since I'm commentating and tracking, if I update the tracker early, trust me, they're gonna get it. And if I miss something on the tracker, please feel free to call me out in chat and I will do my best to keep everything updated. Alright, N in Guardia Basement finds the Guardian, which we've reskinned to be a new and some bits. I mean, the bits are the same, but we have a new because the Guardian sprite, I don't think it is its own sprite, it might actually be background, but it's too big to fit in this scene, so we shrunk it down a little bit. Ah, N did pet the cat. Thank you for that. That's the most important thing that we track here. Thank you so much, chat. All right, Magus has Dark Bomb in his third spot, as N figures out some strategy for how to take out this Guardian. Usually we find the Guardian in Aristome, and the HP spot in the Aristome location is lower than it is here, so this might actually be a little bit tricky of a fight, because the Guardian does have some counterattacks. And if the party is not strong enough to take out the bits quickly, then they might get overwhelmed by counterattacks, but it looks like N is doing okay. And I saw his Marl had re-raise as well, so that's probably her 5th tech. Batsy doing some key character swaps to save on text boxes. Every little optimization saves you time, and in a speed run, you gotta go fast. The Lord Batsy's working her way down into the basement, about to pick up her hero medal as well. I should also note there's a Tab Invest +2 down here. Tab Invest being one of the items that is specifically for Luca to wear, and it being a +2 is really good. That makes it stronger than its usual, and I think the Tab Invest is one of the ones that gives her speed as well. So probably a core item for a Luca heavy party comp. And having a little bit of trouble dealing with this Guardian. See, Batsy taking a reset. Maybe she's deciding not to commit to that hero medal yet. Looks like she might be going to go do Reptite Layer instead. On the end sides, both bits are revived. He's got a Marl that's taken a nap. Luca and Magus still up, so he's got a bit of recovery to do, but it looks like he's going to pull out okay. Plenty of ethers, enough damage, as Lord Batsy goes into Reptite Layer to do some early grinding. Reptite Layer is one of our other popular grind spots. On one room, you've got 4 mobs, and you can run in and run out to reset it. And they all line up in a pretty easy pattern to be easily taken out by some AoE. Looks like Antipode 3 is very close, which means Flare is in sight, or Ice 2 is in sight. Probably both. So maybe that's an Ice 2 in Marl's 6th slot, and a Flare in Luca's 4th or 5th. And still working his way through this Guardian fight. Throwing heals, throwing ethers, throwing dark bombs. Hey, N's got it. As the Guardian goes down, he gets to keep his hero medal, gains a couple levels in the process. Grats to N for completing a challenging fight this early in the run. Lord Batsy, going deeper into Reptite Layer, finds a Vedic Blade for Chrono. Pretty good, as Chrono is pretty weapon dependent in an item randomizer seed like this. Excuse me, equipment randomizer, because items are different than equipment. So it's likely that we'll see N go turn in this hero medal and get another key item, which will certainly influence where he goes next. As Batsy taking some intentional combat in Reptite Layer for the extra levels in grind. And if you got Chrono with Lightning too, or Luminaire, not a bad play to get some early levels out of it. As N encounters the mythical New in the forest. And finds a Doomblade +4, which is actually a reskinned Grand Leon. That's Frog's best weapon. Not required for a go mode, so that's effectively a dead trail of items. So now N's got to go find something else to do. Trying to find that pendant. Actually, this is going to be a Black Omen go mode seed. Because I don't think there's enough checks left for them to find. So the way the Jet to Time randomizer seeds are laid out is that every seed is 100% completable, which means you're never going to have a key item locked behind itself, right? Because the pendant unlocks the future, you'll never find the pendant in the future. Which means future access must be available, which means the pendant must be available, which means as soon as they find the pendant, they have Black Omen go mode already, and they will probably not go do anything else. So Lord Batsy finds Dragon Tank in the back of Reptite Lair, which kind of makes sense. Like, it's still a dragon, although it's mechanical? Who knows? As N goes directly into Mount Woe, and is fighting the beasts on the way upstairs. And with all the power that he's got on his team making quick work of these beasts, is probably fast enough to do Mount Woe. And Mount Woe is another great, gain some levels, gain some good items, gain some tech points. Really, really good place to get some strength. 40 minutes into a seed. And with a Magus with as much power as Magus has, probably pretty easy to one-shot everything up here. With the exception of some of the mobs that are two-phase mobs. As Lord Batsy leaves Dragon Tank with just a floating head, soon to be nothing but red mist. As N climbs the chain into Mount Woe. Showing off some fancy skips there. Lord Batsy doing a really interesting auto-attack approach here. I'm pretty sure Dragon Tank Head is immune to lightning and fire damage, and Marl doesn't have ice yet. So I think the only option actually is to auto-attack. But it goes down after a few hits. She gets a load vest and a flea vest for her troubles. And we'll find out another key item in Reptite Lair. If this is pendant... Oh, it's a Moonstone! Moonstone not even able to be turned in yet. So, you can do half the Moonstone, because you already have Prehistoria access. You can drop it off and charge it. But in order to pick it up, you got to be able to access the future. Which means the pendant... So there's a couple item locations that pendant's possible. It could be at the top of Mount Woe. It could also be at the top of Denadoro Mountain. It could also be in the desert with Robo in the back of Minoria Castle. So, it seems like this is a race to find the pendant. As Lord Batsy says, you know what? I'm climbing Denadoro. And N took a reset, or was that a wipe? Ah, a hard death reset. Yes, yes. Not the soft reset. So that's going to cost him a little bit of time, but this play still could play off. We know they're both looking for pendant. They're going different routes to try and find it. So it's still anybody's game, folks. The climb in Denadoro won't be challenging for Batsy at all, but the boss that's in Denadoro may be challenging. I think she's got enough power now as she picks up... Oh yeah, she picked up Flare and Ice too, so she's got Antipode at 3 now. Yeah, Batsy is probably feeling very confident in her ability to take on any challenge this game wants to throw at her. I think the last tech she cares about is Chrono getting confused, but she's continuing this early Denadoro, this first fight in Denadoro grind, getting some more tech points and levels. So on Batsy's side, there's only a few mandatory fights in Denadoro. There's 2 here at the bottom of the bridge, and then you're pretty much going to see her have a nice stroll of about 12 screens of mountain and not touch anything else. But that just shows off the skill of our runners and the skill of Batsy, as she's skipping probably 2 fights per screen the entire way up. So Denadoro is one of the places where a lot of our runners gain that first bit of satisfaction, learning as they're developing their skills. Denadoro is a great place to learn some easy skips and kind of showcase, wow, Chrono Trigger Randomizer is really fun to play. As Batsy begins her climb at 45 minutes and skipping his midpoint saves. Interesting choices, especially after that hard death reset. But his Magus has dark matter now. I'm not sure what caused N to wipe. Maybe he was a bit overconfident, and he's taking it a little bit slower now. So the imps on N side are some of those mobs that are 2-phase, right? You can do enough damage to kill them, but then the bird goes away and it drops the imp, so you still have to have another round of attacks in order to clear out the imps. So it's a little bit slower of a fight, but when you've got enough damage, not that big of a concern. Really, for Mount Woe, what you want is the speed. You have to be speedy enough to get that first hit off before they start hitting you, because you can take a lot of damage up there if you're not careful. And N's Luca also gets Flare as his Magus unlocks Black Hole. Thank you in chat for keeping me honest as far as what techs people have. I see mid tonics are 210 HP. I think that's a bit higher than average. I think Luca just picked up a Gradius +3 on N side and a Blue Mail +2. Gradius being one of the better weapons for Luca. Not that she really uses her weapon that much, but the +3 means it's got some extra bonuses. So maybe it'll be something she can use. Maybe some extra magic or some extra speed. As Lord Batsy, as the top of Denadoro Mountain. 2 minutes and 10 seconds later, as she prepares for this boss fight. We're going to switch the audio over to Batsy here for this fight. Give us some full immersion into the boss environment. That was a full ether for a lot of MP on end side. Looks like all of the healing items rolled pretty high this seed. $91 MP full ether. Thank you so much. So, on Batsy's side, the normal, the mass immune fight, when they're split, they're still the same. You only have to kill one of them, and you've got enough damage to just knock them out in one hit. And then when they merge, that's when the rando kicks in. And we see a... that's an R series. Which will probably fall in one attack. I'd be surprised if they lasted more than one attack here with an Antipode 3. The HP for this spot is split between all of them. So this is going to be the easiest Denadoro climb you've ever seen. As she deals a measly 2,800 damage to all of them and laughs to herself. Probably a little bit distraught though, because that's one of those fights you'd like to see way later in one of the endgame boss spots as opposed to up here. But she'll get a key item for her reward, so let's see what we find at the top of Denadoro. This could be the pendant. This could be her go mode. Drum roll, please. I can picture all of you at home drum rolling on your desks. It's a bent hilt. Not ideal. Not what she's looking for. I did not see the Denadoro rock. So that may be valuable. I don't know if anybody else caught it. But now that means Batsy has to go find something else to do. Try and find that pendant. Looks like we got a blue rock on Denadoro. Where is Batsy going? Oh, she's gonna go do her Prism Shard now. Because she has not picked up her Hero's Medal. So, yep, she's already peeked it. She knows it's here, so she's probably thinking, this boss fight is one boss fight and a couple text boxes. You can clear this out pretty easily and then go get an immediate another item after that. But she doesn't know that it's dead. As Anne is fighting a golem on top of Mount Woe. It looks like that golem fell over pretty quickly. And we'll see what key item N gets at the top of Mount Woe, 51 minutes and 30 seconds into a seed. That was so fast. Did somebody catch that? Bent sword, oh my goodness. So now we know we're both sword. So we have the knowledge. We know where the pendant is. But neither runner knows where the pendant is. Robo's in the back of Cathedral, and the pendant's in the bottom of the desert. This is a fantastic run. It really shows you how Chrono Trigger Randomizer loves to rando, and almost loves to troll a little bit. So, what this does mean, exactly, as I see in chat here, because we know where the pendant is, we know that the last item, or the last character location that we haven't seen yet, who am I missing? Luca Moro Magus. Ayla's in the burrow. Chrono's on Dactyl's nest. Oh, Robo has to be behind Cathedral. And Frog has to be in Protodome. So, knowing if either character has both pieces of the sword and Frog is in Protodome, there's a chance that someone might decide to do a Magus Castle Go mode. Might, maybe. Magus Castle is at least, just in case phone's listening, at least 13 minutes slower than every other Go mode. I think the math says it's 19 minutes slower. But also, once they get Pendant, they might just dip and go straight into Black Omen. So, Ayla is in the burrow. So now Ayla is technically unlockable. Well, we have the knowledge to get Ayla, but neither character has both pieces of the sword yet. So, let's see. N is doing his Reptite layer now. So N's about to go find his Moonstone. Let's see, did I update his sword? I did update his sword. Okay. As Batsy's gonna get her hero medal. And she'll go get her Mass Immune, best weapon for Frog. Probably be disappointed, but I think she may also be the first one to have the knowledge that Bacca Cathedral is a necessary play. Oh, you're right. Batsy has not done Woe yet. So she's got a choice to make. She can either go to Woe and hope that that key item is the pendant, which we know it's not, or she can say, you know what, let me just check this cathedral now and go to the desert. But so she may not know that it's Robo. She doesn't have the knowledge that we've got. She knows that Ayla's in the burrow. She could 50-50 that Robo's in the back of Cathedral right now. Maybe she's forgotten who's in the burrow. Oh no, she's gonna go turn in her hero's medal. That's what she's doing. As N leaves Prehistoria and goes to climb Denadoro. Man, the swaps. So, as you can see, both of our runners avoid the back of Cathedral as long as possible. Makes for a really exciting race. So she turns in her hero's medal, she gets her Mass Immune. Will she go to Woe, or will she go to Bacca Cathedral? Hey, Prism Helm +2 is pretty nice. Was that a sight scope with Grand Dream? I'm kind of trying to catch these buffs on these items. Blue Rock did have a plus. I know Luca's speed is at 13 without the tab invest. I'm not sure why she took it off. And Batsy, traveling to 12,000, says, you know what? Let's go to Woe. I'm going to get levels. I'm going to get tech points. It can't be the Bacca Cathedral. While N climbs Denadoro, well, both of our runners are going to converge in the same spot. They're both going to hit Bacca Cathedral at roughly the same time. Probably enter Desert roughly the same time. Probably enter Black Omen Go mode roughly the same time. This is a race, folks. This is a race. So one of the questions is going to be, how much extra item checking will either runner do after getting the pendant? Will they stop to open the sealed doors? Will they go after sealed chests? Or will they just go straight into Black Omen? That could be a pretty key decision for our runners, as every little bit of extra time when Go mode is triggered is time that your opponent could be getting away from you. And I'm certain when both runners find that pendant, they're gonna be feeling like they're behind. Because I'd be feeling like I was behind. I mean, this was open the whole time and I could have had it, and I did 2.5 extra dungeons that I didn't need? Oh no. So I think now we gotta be considering what level are our characters at on both sides. Who has a little bit of an advantage? Luca got her flame toss, which doesn't really matter at this point. I think the last ability we're actually looking for, Magus has dark matter. Does Chrono have confuse yet? I don't think he does. I know that's the last tech that Batsy's absolutely going to be looking for if she keeps this party. Because confuse is required for Fire Sword 2 and Ice Sword 2. So Antipode's great for multi-target, but knowing that you're going into Black Omen, you're gonna want a good single target hit, because Zeal 2, you don't want to do AoE damage on Zeal 2. Both of those hands will rip you apart. As N is at the top of Denadoro doing his solo Mass Immune fight, about to get his own laugh as he wipes out our series in less than a minute. Yeah, there's plenty of race to make up time, and I'm the commentator, so I'm not going to inflict any commentator's curse, but every decision that the runners make matters. Every safety that the runners take, including status resistance, the item equips, and being prepared for every fight ahead of them, will make a difference in this race. One wrong fight could turn the tide. N climbs the top of the mountain and gets his bent hilt as a reward. So I think N is the first one to the knowledge that the play is back of Cathedral into Desert. He's got both sword pieces now. He can do the math in his head and go, wait a second, I know where Ayla is. Pendant has to be logical, so it's gotta be Robo into Desert. What has he not done? No, wait, he doesn't have his Moonstone yet. Reptite Layer. I don't think N's done Reptite Layer yet, has he? True, Desert could still be Toma's Pop. But yeah, at the end of Giant's Claw, you'd have to get the pendant. Looks like N's forging the sword. So the reason here to forge the sword is because he wants Ayla. It looks like I marked him off on the main tracker, so he's probably got Moonstone. I'm looking at 2 different trackers on my side, so... As Lord Batsy fights her golem at the top of the mountain, and Lord N, turning in the Moonstone, gets another strong item. Big Hand -3, which they found several of on Xenon Bridge already. Will he actually go pick up Ayla? Let's find out. Nope. And N has done the math and he says, dang it, I gotta go get Robo. As he rushes to the back of Cathedral, knowing what's at stake. This will be a really easy boss. He's got enough power, doesn't need to stop for anything. No item checks, just running straight to the back. Probably praying his opponent did not do this check. That was a pretty clean skip moving right there. I always run around that left wall, but... Lord Batsy somehow thinking that Chrono sleeping might help her. Hopefully she doesn't... Oh no! And Lord Batsy at the top of Mount Woe takes an unintentional death. That is going to cost some time. But she's saved, so she's not too far away. F's in the chats for Lord Batsy. Ah, if she ran out of revives, that would do it. I mean, with a party comp of Chrono and Marl, Chrono gets life, Marl gets life too, but if it's not unlocked yet, then not having that revive makes a difference, and now she's taking a little bit extra time to switch a couple items around. Some safeties. The safeties make a difference. Also, don't sleep on re-raise, by the way. Like, if you know you're going to take a hard hit and you've got re-raise, which Marl does have unlocked, throw a re-raise out and save yourself some trouble. Zen goes into back of Cathedral. Let's see what boss we have in the back of Cathedral. Looks like it's Atropo XR. Doing her best to protect her brother Robo from the likes of our silly party comp trying to save the world. Are they girlfriend and boyfriend, or are they brother and sister? I could never tell. Yeah, no matter how hard you think Atropos is in the vanilla game, a 1v1 fight with Robo versus a 3v1 fight in the earliest boss location, not a challenge at all. As N drops him in one shot and will climb queenside of Guardia Castle 600 to get his Robo, and then go straight to Desert for another boss fight and the key item of the pendant. As Batsy dropping those 2500 Antipode 3s, killing the Golem, getting that last burp off, and surviving the fight. GG's to Batsy for beating that difficult boss fight. And picking up Spin Cut for Chrono. Not Psych, or it's not Confused though. Hopefully that Confuse is not his 8th tech slot. Lord Batsy finishes Woe, picks up her bent sword, and it's probably going, crap. I know where it is. Yep, straight to back of Cathedral. So since these randomizer seeds are generally an hour and a half to 2 hours long, both runners are probably feeling, it's the hour mark. There's a good chance my opponent could have done this already and already be towards the end of the game. So I expect to see both runners skipping as much as they can, only getting mandatory items, and just trying to make as much progress as they can as quickly as they can from this point out. Yep. And like we see in chat, both runners recognize that it's Pendant Black Omen Go mode is the way, unless they're more comfortable in Magus' Castle, because they now have the knowledge that Frog is in Protodome. And that's one check to go pick up a character and then go to Magus' Castle instead of Black Omen. As Magus laughs at his clone in the desert on N side. No challenge at all whatsoever. picking up that power tab 4 for his troubles. So the tabs in this game have also been randomized. Power tabs can be anywhere between, I think it's 1 and 4. Magic tabs are 1 and 3, and speed tabs are defaulted to 1 because speed is so good. So if anybody remembers what the magic tab value is, I'd love to know that. Power's 2 to 4 and magic's 1 to 3. There it is. Magic is +3, and they got really good item rolls this seed. Power +4, magic +3. Revives and ethers and full ethers at least being higher than average. Don't know if we've seen what that mid ether looks like, but I don't think. Actually, both runners have chrono. Oh, no, so they'll have to do the pendant. So the pendant, let's talk about that. So when you get the pendant in this seed, we've added an extra character to the entrance of Guardia Castle. Wait, was that Thomas Pop? Yep, that was Thomas Pop. Okay. Not a pendant. Definitely a Thomas Pop. But we know that after this check, it's gotta be a pendant. More of a chain. Yeah, this game really wants to see more dungeons, apparently. So, once they find the pendant, we've added an extra NPC inside Guardia's Castle, just to the left of the stairs. You talk to that NPC, and they will take you away to the trial sequence for stealing the pendant. Usually it's Chrono that goes through it in the vanilla game, because he's the only one in your party. But in the randomizer, it's going to take whoever is in character slot 1. So we'll see who decides to be sent to trial for stealing the pendant for both of our runners. Get your guesses in chat. Who you think they're going to go send to jail for stealing a pendant. You get brownie points from me if you guess that either one of them sends Marl to jail for stealing her own pendant. As Batsy picks up her robo, 1 hour, 10 minutes. A little bit behind N, but not so far back that it is that the race has been determined yet. N brings Robo into the party. Robo, one of 3 characters in the game who does not need to go to the end of time to unlock magic. He will learn all of his techs by default. And it looks like he's got that Team Blue Rock team. That's correct. And the Blue Rock is already in play since they found it. So, Blue Rock unlocks Omega Flare, a really ridiculously strong triple tech for Robo, Magus, and Luca. We have the Flare already. We just need a Robo with Laser Spin and... is it Dark Bomb, I think? And Magus already has Dark Bomb. As Lord Batsy makes her way into the desert, and N is working his way through Giant's Claw. Getting confirmation from chat, it is Laser Spin, Dark Bomb, and Flare. 2 of those abilities we already have unlocked. Just looking for that Laser Spin on Robo. Hopefully it's not too far down the list, because Omega Flare will be really good at clearing pretty much everything. Oh, he's already got it? Oh, perfect then. Omega Flare is live, and we'll probably see it on this Nizbal fight. Is this Nizbal 1 or Nizbal 2? Yeah, it's already doing 3,100 damage. And it'll only get stronger as more magic tabs go out and more levels get gained. We can expect to see N using a combination of this and some healing items and ethers through the rest of the game. fighting his way to victory as quickly as possible. 2 hits of Omega Flare and Nizbal falls. I didn't even catch which Nizbal that was. That's how fast the fight was. And we'll wait for the visual confirmation of our pendant. There it is. En's got his pendant. En's got his go mode. As Lord Batsy has cleared the desert and will soon pick up her Thomas Pop. Probably have a short, silent sigh of frustration as she knows she has to go to Giant's Claw, but also knows that she's on the right path. And taking a moment to go back to Melkor in the fair, who always has revives and shelters on hand, as well as some weapons for every, or the 5 main starting characters at least. Wait, who's missing there? I think Magus' weapons aren't there, and Ayla uses her fist, so she doesn't have one. As En sends his Robo to jail. So as we go through the trial sequence, you've only got 1 character, but it's a pretty easy section of the game. It's built around having 1 character, so the fights are not hard. There's a couple easy knockouts you can do if you're pretty good with your movement. And there's 2 really cool skips. And of course, Fritz, who we can save in the prison if we choose to. But this is a race, so it's likely that there may be no Fritzes saved in this race. We'll see. Another good thing about the trial sequence is you don't have to worry about healing, because there's a free heal spot right there. And even though you only have 1 party member, that heal heals your whole party. So when they join you at the top of the exit before you fight Dragon Tank, all your party will be healed. 52 MP mid-ethers. Goodness gracious, that's a lot. So yeah, it looks like everything is boosted. Not too bad for one of our end game, end of the tournament seeds, that is. Ooh, Batsy finding a Silver Rock Plus. Probably not going to use it. Oh, that's the new rock. Is that 4th rock location. So I think we've seen the Denadora rock was blue, the Giant's rock, which we just saw, was silver, which means the Prehistoria rock must have been black? Or maybe that one was blue. Which means the new rock is white. Oh right, gold rock. Wait, then I'm missing a rock. Somebody help me out. What are the rock locations? I know we got 1 in Denadoro. We've got 1 in Prehistoria. We've got 1 in Giant's Claw. We have... There's a rock in Omen. That's the one I'm missing then. Laruba, yep. Denadoro, Giant's Claw, Kahar. Yeah, I know about the one in Kahar. That's the Omen rock. Okay, the Omen rock that I'm missing. Let's call these by correct locations. Batsy takes out Nizbal, and En clears the trial sequence I was so busy worried about rocks, I didn't even see if N saved Fritz. And finds a... not a red knight. Zombor, that's who that is. Probably not too much of a challenge, though. Batsy finishes her Giant's Claw, picks up her pendant. It's going to be coming straight to the trial. Fritz still hangs. Uh-oh. There's one Fritz unsaved. Probably thinking that he doesn't need those extra mid-ethers that you get from Fritz for saving him. Knowing that there's still a couple more shops to go, and if he's going to go into Black Omen, there's at least... let's see. Death Peak doesn't have a shop. He won't get to 12,000, so he's not going to get the Kahar shop at all. It's just the Death Omen shop, so... excuse me, the Black Omen shop. Batsy taking a very vanilla approach, sending Chrono to jail. Shame we don't get any brownies. No Marl's going to jail this time. But maybe we'll see Chrono save his buddy, who was arrested because he looked like Chrono. And bust out of the trial sequence. And upon landing in the future, his pendant will be fully charged. So let's see how many checks N takes before going into go mode. Or going into a final dungeon. Skips one door right away. And goes straight to trigger Death Peak. Thank you to our wonderful chatters keeping track of times and statuses of everybody. Looks like there's a 5-minute gap between our runners. Which isn't a lot. 5 minutes is one boss fight if it goes well or doesn't go well. Black Omen can be a pretty tricky place as well. There's some fights you can't skip. There are some fights that are RNG based on the mobs. If you run past them with their eyes open, they will trigger a fight. But if their eyes are closed, you can get past scot-free. So there's still a lot of time to close a gap or increase a gap. It's not over yet. Very exciting race. Yep. And not even looking anywhere else, just says, "Nope, we're going to this mountain. We're going to go climb Death Peak." I think all of the mountains were climbed this seed. I mean, it makes perfect sense, though. When you last locate your pendant, which you could have gotten much, much earlier, you're going to skip everything else, right? Let's see. What was not required? Mount Woe was not required this seed. Both characters did it. Denadoro Mountain was not required this seed. Both characters did it. Prism Shard and Guardia Basement. Let's see. Guardia Basement had Hero's Medal. What was in the Burrow? Grand Leon, yeah. So Prism Shard, which was Xenon Bridge, not required. Guardia Basement, not required. They did a lot of not required stuff. The future isn't required. So every seed is completable. And in this case, because the pendant was the last of the Go Mode items, like you almost have to find the pendant, either the pendant or the gate key in every seed. It's possible to do it one or the other. But no, like the chat's saying, future is required because you have to do the Death Peak event in order to trigger the Black Omen appearing, but you don't go to the Black Omen in the future. and showing off one of the cool things about Chrono Trigger. If you don't touch the mobs, they don't touch you back. And I also didn't see... Oh, is that Leon? Did she not save Fitz? Did she not save Fritz? Do we have a double seed where Fritz wasn't saved? Nobody tell him. Oh, she did save him? Okay, cool. Okay, we can tell Fritz now, it's okay. In every seed, at least 50% of the seed has to save him, so... one of our runners in our community is One Free Fitz, who is named after Fritz in the game, so... He'll be comforted to know that both of his friends did not did not leave him stranded in jail. N finds a Super Slash in the top Lavo spawn fight location. Probably no trouble if you got Omega Flare, as Lord Batsy shows off her Antipode 3s on this Zombor. Another power tab for N. So as you notice on N side, that's usually where the hint for push the shell, climb the shell comes into play. But because the boss is randomized, we keep the boss sprite there. So the way to make sure that it's lined up correctly is push it all the way to the right, push it all the way up, and then climb it, and it'll put you in the right spot every time. You don't have to worry about trying to figure it out by looking at it. Batsy makes quick work of Zombor, and N tries as an egg breaks. And the sun goes dark. Not gonna lie, I thought this cutscene was way dope when it happened in the vanilla game. Like, oh my god, they just stopped time and used a clone to switch out a body. Like, oh my god, so amazing. This game was like ahead of its time, man. Batsy's got her pendant charge, and she takes some time opening some other checks, probably looking for a Chrono Sword. Vedic Blade's okay, but it ain't a rainbow, it ain't a Shiva Edge. And not getting the swag power tab on Death Peak. Yeah, I've heard that Expedition 33 are fantastic. I should probably make some time to pick that up and play it. As N enters Black Omen at 125. Yeah, FF Tactics is, not gonna lie. I have memories of FF Tactics that I still live with. So, and since we're talking about other RPGs that are game changers, I'm gonna throw in Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, because as far as top RPGs of the Super Nintendo era, actually, there's 4. Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG, and Earthbound. All 4 of those are fantastic games. They all deserve credit. We know that the top 1 and 2 are either Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger. Both of our communities have decided to just not argue about it. We just accept the fact that we're tied, so we don't start a huge war and blow up the internet. But, you know, you gotta give all of them credit. Fantastic games. I don't know how much has changed in Ivalice Chronicles, but it's probably a pretty faithful, should be a pretty faithful remake or remaster. Luffy, oh my god, don't mention the Lufias. No, don't get me started. I made it a point to go try to find and play every Super Nintendo RPG I could. Oh god, Breath of Fire. Oh, okay. So all of y'all need to come into the Jets of Time Discord community so we can have these long drawn out conversations about Super Nintendo RPGs. But back to our race. Anne is climbing Black Omen a few minutes ahead of Batsy as she works her way up Death Peak. Yeah, no, all of you just join our Discord, and I'll convince one of our mods to just make another channel for RPG Super Nintendo RPG conversations, and we'll just have a nice long discussion. Yeah, Evermore was good. I enjoyed Terranigma as well. Yeah, I'm throwing out some really niche ones there too. Anybody heard of Terranigma? Hey, if we get more people in our community, then that means more people for Gato Cup. Clemmy knows. Clemmy knows. So, not forgetting FF5. Not forgetting FF5 at all. Like, the Final Fantasy series was a great series before a double-digit number, which I'm not going to say out loud. Comparing 5 and 6, though, 6 was the best. 5 was real good. Trust me, I loved 5. But 6 just had it beat out. The characters, the story. So when you think about it, I'm gonna hot take here, right? Of all of the Final Fantasy villains, or of all of the villains in an RPG, right? Most people think that Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII was like the worst of them, except they forget that Kefka was in jail in the first like 3 hours of Final Fantasy VI, gets out of jail and actually destroys the world. So like, nah, Kefka, he's the worst villain that Final Fantasy has ever produced. Legit insane. This race. Let's see. Shelters, full stock of items on Batsy's side. En's making his way to an elevator with items. 5 revives. A little bit low on the revive side. Not too bad. As Lord Batsy fights that super slash on the top of Woe. Showing off the massive power that his team has produced. It was said in chat, why is Batsy not using Delta Attack? So, a couple different reasons. Delta Attack is a triple tech, so it's using all 3 of your party members to do. An Antipode is probably as strong, if not stronger than Delta Attack. The way the damage calcs work is it's using the damage values of the techs that go into that ability. So because Antipode 3 uses Ice 2 and Flare, it is actually better than Delta Attack, which is using Ice 2, Fire 2, and Lightning 2. So, like me and saying, it's not worth to give a 3rd ATB bar. Keeping Chrono to be able to throw a heal or an ether or something else instead is a safer strategic play. Everybody uses the MP on a triple attack. So it's based on the MP of each individual tech, and it's all combined. So, for example, on the Omega Flare side, Luca's going to be throwing a 20 MP Flare, Robo's throwing a 3 MP Laser Spin, and Maga's just throwing an 8 MP Dark Bomb. So N is at the halfway point of Black Omen, opening the 6 chests. This is the safe room. There's a save spot. There's a store. As he goes to do his final shopping trip, seeing Mega Alether's Prism Helms with haste on them. Oh my goodness. So definitely going to be selling everything he doesn't need to get a couple Prism Helms with haste. I don't think they had anti-status effects, but just having haste alone makes it worth it. Ditching all the accessories he doesn't want. Power Strength plus 10 with haste is fantastic. slightly overpowering, right? Imagine getting one of those on an Ayla and just rocking like a triple kick strat end game. That would be so strong. Let's see. Status resist on Magus with an amulet. I don't know if he got full status resist coverage on everybody, but he may not need it. I think the only downside with his team is that nobody really makes use of that power stat. Everybody's throwing magic. Even the Omega Flare triple tech is magic damage on all 3 characters, so... if Lord Batsy does her outside shopping trip, picking up some shelters, she's only got 4 revives. But she does go to Fritz, and get the free mid-ethers, 10 mid-ethers, which are actually pretty valuable, especially in an item randomizer. But as we know, N is already working his way through Black Omen, and Batsy's just making that gap between them just a little bit wider with every extra shopping trip and every extra check. But she makes her way into Black Omen at 133.50, which is roughly 8 minutes behind N. While we don't wish wipes on anyone, I definitely understand the feeling of wanting a close race. But we're not going to see Lavos in here. When you climb Black Omen, you don't fight Lavos. So all of the other boss spots between where N is and the end of the game will be random, with the exception of the final 3. The final 3 bosses are going to be Zeal 1, Mammon Machine, and then Zeal 2. And Zeal 2 counts as the last boss. I appreciate the love from the chat here. I'm just doing my best to keep everybody engaged and keep the play-by-play happening. Not gonna lie, when you're commentating and tracking, as soon as both runners hit go mode, the tracking side slows down a heck of a lot. So now I can just sit back and enjoy the chat, enjoy the race. For some reason, my headset decided to fall asleep while I was talking, but that's okay. And picked up a gold earring, as I was about to say, and he's showing off a lot of skips. This skip is one I still need to learn. There's a line where you don't have to fight those 2 mutants, which saves you a bit of time. Oh, the Tales series! Yeah! Oh, that Tales series was so good. Yeah, there's a lot of series of RPGs that made their name in the Super Nintendo era. What was the one? Man, what was the one that was on Genesis? It wasn't Phantasy Star. There was another one that was on Genesis that had like a grid system for its combat. Somebody's gonna remember it. And finding a golem boss who isn't really that hard of a fight. It's pretty scripted. You either deal a certain amount of damage or you wait a certain amount of time, and the golem just runs away. But I don't think we'll see a golem running this fight. That's the one. Shining Force. There it is. Chat hooking me up. Reading my mind. I think N might be a bit low on his MP consumables. I know he's got a couple Lapis M's still floating around. But without him picking up those mid-ethers, I don't think he'll run into too much trouble because the last boss fights will just run. He's got shelters to keep himself topped up at save points. You know what? I was just thinking about Quest 64, and I was like, yeah, there was one attempted RPG on 64. I couldn't remember the name, but oh man, Quest 64. That was a game, all right. So I think a thing to remember about the SNES era, and the reason why there were so many RPGs there, that system had been out for a long time, and the developers were really optimizing and maximizing the hardware potential of that platform. So a lot of those companies had been doing it for a while, and the games like Chrono Trigger and like Final Fantasy VI and some of those, they were really like the peak end of what the hardware was capable of. And then 64 came out and everybody had to learn all over again. Were there any good RPGs later in the 64 era? Because Quest was one of the first ones. Ooh. I don't know if there was... Nothing comes to mind from the 64 era RPG section. N makes his way through the second elevator. Lord Batsy picking up a Wonder Arm, so we know that Robo's got a good weapon. Well, semi-good weapon. The Wonder effect being added to an item gives it the random damage effect, which is pretty good. Oh yeah, Paper Mario. That's what it was. The good RPGs on the 64 were the Paper Mario games. Wild Arms was pretty good too, yeah. As Lord Batsy makes it to the halfway point. I call it the halfway point. I don't know if it's exactly halfway. It was PlayStation, you're right. I stand corrected. Is doing her buying and selling, seeing what she wants. Probably trying to figure out how she can get her hands on a couple of those haste helms. There are Mega Elixirs in this store also. Don't know if she's going to try and get a Mega Elixir. Gauntlet Legends? Oh no. Red Wizard needs food badly. Okay, I know we've got one of our Discord mods in chat here. If you haven't made a channel in the Jets of Time community for old school RPG talk, please. I mean, oh man, we just started our monthly multi-world too. So, hey, I can talk about the Jets of Time Discord and the Jets of Time community because this is a Jets of Time randomizer. So, every month, we have a multi-world, a monthly multi-world event. So for those of you who know what Archipelago is or don't know what Archipelago is, archipelago.gg allows you to take randomized games, merge them together, and find items for your friends in a giant setting. All the games are linked together. There's some amazing technology that goes behind the scenes. And we just started a monthly multi-world where people contribute not only Chrono Trigger seeds, but tons of other games that are compatible with the Archipelago platform. And we just do multi-worlds together. So it's a great community event that happens every month. So it seems like we got a lot of people who would love to chime in on that. And N fighting Giga Gaia in the last mutant location. Probably not a hard fight. I don't even think he's taking damage. No. He's getting hit for less than 200 on the fire, and Magus healed it. So I think this will be a pretty easy fight for him. Flare dealing roughly 2,000 damage on its own. Let's see how much this Omega Flare does. It's up to 4,200 now. Yeah. Yeah, at this point there's not much to commentate because N is in a pretty smooth run from here to the end of the game. I think the only thing he has to be mindful of is the last Zeal fight, because I don't know if his solo target damage is going to be as strong since he won't be able to use Omega Flare on the final fight. But Batsy's working her way through, probably doing extra fights, trying to find that Confuse on Chrono. I don't know if we've seen that yet. I know we made it down to Spin Cut on his tech, on Chrono's Tech 6. I don't know what his 7 and 8 are. If somebody can keep an eye out on Batsy's side to see Chrono's text, does he have Confuse? Does Robo have Uzi Punch? That's also a good question. And skipped the rock chest. Doesn't need it. And finds a flea. Is this a flea or a flea plus? Flea plus. Who seems to be not a threat at all. When you've got Prism Helms with haste, when you've got all the colored mails on pluses, when you've got a blue rock, looks like N's entire team is at least speed, what, 13 or 14 for everybody? Is there a Wonder Sword +1 on Chrono? No way! I don't know if the Wonder Sword is better than a Rainbow, but I'm sure she's going to be very happy to see that, knowing that Chrono's got a good, well, a good-ish weapon. That Wonder damage is going to be pretty rough, though, because that means that the techs you'd use with Chrono, your Fire Sword and your Ice 2, are also going to have their damage randomized based on how the Wonder triggers. If the Wonder rolls low, the damage rolls low. If the Wonder rolls high, the damage rolls high. Ah, gotcha. Thank you for the clarification. Only the ultimate weapons for each character can roll the Wonder, Crisis, or Doom effects. Like we saw the Doom Blade for the Grand Leon, which is Frog's best weapon. Effectively Masamune 2, the upgraded Masamune. I'm all in, doing the final panel fight, getting the last save point before fighting Zeal and the Mammon Machine. As Batsy fights her Golem boss. The race isn't over. I mean, it's unlikely, but N could pump too much damage into Mammon Machine and get hit by that counterattack. I don't think he'd do it, but there's a chance. $6,000 damage to Zeal 1. The Zeal 1 is also a scripted fight. She does her halation 2 times in a row, so N knows he doesn't have to worry about healing until after the second one. And it looks like he's going for a quick kill here, which he gets. He also knows that in between Zeal 1 and the Mammon Machine fight, there's a few frames where you can just push the menu button and open the menu and heal your party this way and not have to worry about going in with low HP. So, see, double prism helms with a dash ring, make Luca speed 14. Yeah. The dash ring he just picked up off of Zeal 1. But he's got enough magic to do Omega Flare 3 times before having to throw mana at Luca. Marl just got life 2. Chrono has no confuse yet. Ooh. I know she's going to be relying on that confuse. Do we know if Chrono has 7 techs? He's at 6, so that means confuse is either 7 or 8. Yep, and showing us the strength of Omega Flare, knocking out Mammon Machine super quick, and now is into the final fight of the game, his Zeal 2 fight. Time will be as the boss starts to fade. One of the hands, I think, fades first. So we'll have time coming up pretty quickly, certainly before the 2-hour mark. Highly likely that lordbatsy will continue her run. I'm pretty sure she doesn't look at the race room, especially when she's in the last dungeon. So she'll likely finish, and we'll try to see if we can get both of our runners in here for some for an interview after the race. Let's see how N decides to handle this fight. Oh, Robo's in a good middle position for some double bombs. Not hitting the hands, only hitting the head. Really makes me wonder where the hitbox is for Zeal's head there. Because the finger pointer points to the top of the head, but Robo's able to hit it from the bottom somehow. I don't know. Math and sprites. Yep, looks like it's dark bomb strats and double bomb strats, which is not the strength of an Omega Flare, but it'll have to do. So the Zeal 2 fight is also roughly scripted. Her halfway mark, she does a halation. So N's probably going to be planning for that, making sure he's ready on a Mega Elixir or some sort of AoE heal to make sure he doesn't accidentally get dropped by the hands. Since he has a lot of control over what techs are happening and when, he can plan it very well. Yep, got the 1 Mega Elixir ready for it. Perfect timing, draining Robo's mana, followed up by a Mega Elixir, and he can just continue pumping out the damage this fight with no slowdown whatsoever. Really good strategy by N. Batsy doing some last minute equips, flipping some stuff over. So she's got a gold rock on her Marl, and I wonder what bonus the gold rock is giving to make that viable. Getting down to the last few hits on inside as he's counting the damage in his head mentally. Probably going maybe 1 or 2 more attacks. As lordbatsy fights her Giga Gaia. Probably glad she took the time to equip some a red mail on Chrono. Especially because Chrono's got life. Her Marl's got life too, but just having Chrono be the backup while Marl and Luca deal the damage. And there's a time on all N. GG's to I'm all N. Finishing this seed out at a 152.02. he will proceed to the final round at the top of the winner's bracket. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview. Yep, looks like he'll be joining us here in just a second. As my admin says in chat, and he'll progress to the best of 3 finals. Batsy will go on to face Nate again. Oh, that is the second time they've been fighting, right? Yep, Batsy beat Nate in her last round. And because Nate won the lower bracket, it'll be Batsy against Nate one more time. So En will be joining us here in chat in just a moment. Probably had to step away from his computer, shake off his nerves. We'll get him in here for an interview. As Batsy continues her seed, not too far behind, she'll finish strong. Lord Batsy finding a Fleet Plus. Ooh, Marl gets hit by a sleep, so we know that Marl doesn't have a status resist. I don't think it'll cause her too much trouble. She's got some heals. Glad to see we got a lot of people been watching this Alphador Derby tournament, knowing who's been facing off against who. We got a revenge match happening. We'll see how it plays out. I think we're just waiting on En to come up. Oh, Chrono finally got his confuse. But I'm sure Batsy will be glad to have her strongest abilities going into final boss of the game. Welcome, GG's, and welcome to our winner of this race. I'm all En. Congratulations, my friend. How are you feeling? En, can you hear me? Are you muted? Might be having some audio troubles.
Let me try that. Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go. Got you now, buddy.
Oh yeah, this was just exhausting to see. And I was fearing for my life, you know, at many points. So I knew Batsy was going to be right on my tail, and you know, we can see it here that,
yep,
you know, she's only a few steps behind in the Omen.
So how do you feel about last locating your progression in Pendant?
You know, I actually got a little confused when I got the other sword piece. I started forging the Masmune, and then I realized I don't have Frog, and if I don't have Frog, then the only place he can be is in the future. And then it dawned on me. It's like I'm still stuck, looking for Pendant, because I was trying to figure out, okay, well, do I try Magus's castle? But then I realized that's not an option.
Yep.
And so then it was do Calf, do Desert. Desert led to Thomas Pop. Thomas Pop led to Pendant. Do Trial. Do Death Peak. Do Omen. And at that point, I just, could only hope the seed was as rude to Batsy as it was to me. And, looking at her tracker, we basically had the same awful night.
So it's really interesting from the commentator's perspective. We had no mode probably 20 minutes before either of you had go mode. So we knew that the right play was back of Cath to get Robo into Desert. And just watching the two of you kind of do opposite sides of the same coin, go in different directions, but both of you last located the Cath play. So it still came down to being a pretty close seed overall.
Yeah, that back of Cathedral is always a tough decision, and that's usually why I like to know who's in the burrow ahead of time. But with a team BlackRock, I was hoping that we got to play around with Dark Eternal this seed, and there didn't seem to be a good reason to check the back of Cathedral until there became a good reason, and then there became a good reason very late in the seed.
Absolutely. Another thing to note, how are you feeling with the item values this seed? Seems like every item you guys picked up had a boosted value compared to some other seeds.
It turned out all right, and the those prism helms with haste on them and the omen, were too good to pass up. I was a little shaky on Robo though, because the best he had for a little bit was a big hand -3. But when I saw his laser spin was in his top attacks, I just figured I'd swap him out and, go for the team Blue Rock.
Yep. And that Blue Rock team, I think even at the earliest, the first time you used Omega Flare, it was hitting for like 21, and by endgame it was hitting for, I think I saw a 6,000 on your screen at one point.
It really made the Omen bosses, and any boss had to clear, like, just cake. Wow.
Hey, and Batsy dropping a 6,000 point Fire Sword 2 on Zeal and saying, nope, we're done with this. GG's to Lord Batsy for finishing her race.
GG's. That's a Wonder Sword on Chrono, wasn't it?
Yep, it was. So you entered Black Omen at 125. She entered 8 minutes after you, and the time shows that she was only 8 minutes off. So GG's to the both of you. I don't know if Batsy's going to come in for an interview. We'll see if we can grab her as well, but this was a fantastic race by both of you.
Yeah, it really shows that, there can be a lot of unknowns and uncertainties in this randomizer, but otherwise, what fun would it be?
Well, I close. Oh, wait, I can do this button. No, I can't do that button. I closed the window, and now my Discord is... Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, it looks like we got Lord Batsy with us as well.
Hi.
GG's, Batsy.
GG's.
Yeah. No, GG's likewise. So how many checks did you do?
All the ones you did, looking at the tracker.
Okay, so all of them. Yay! Oh my god, I'm so tired.
So I was telling N, and I'll ask you the same question. How does it feel to last locate the Robo in the back of Cathedral, which is required?
It feels awesome on opposite day.
Yeah, from the commentator's perspective, we had no mode at least 20 minutes before either of you got your go mode because you both went different directions. So we
I
knew that
didn't
every
doubt it.
check was a dead end on one side or the other. It's just like, well,
Oh my
who's gonna
God.
find the back of Cathedral Play first? Go figure.
Like-
Both of you decided to last locate it, which made it a really exciting race.
At least there's that, I guess. I not that I wanted either of us to get put through that, but at least there was that. What was I gonna say? I figured out that I was gonna have to get my beloved Black Omen Go mode at some point pretty early, and then of course no check worked. And I mean, it was just at the point where you have to pick stuff, and
Yep.
it didn't work.
And it was really just a matter of where is the pendant. Somebody's got to have it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the Thomas pop was just like a slap in the face because I was like, okay, clearly it's there, but like, come on, man, I'm tired. Like,
I gotta go do another dungeon? Why?
can we start go mode now, please? Yeah, but it was alright. At least like the item rolls were all pretty good. The Wonder Sword was awesome right at the end.
Yep, and getting the confused right at the end as well.
Yeah, I kept forgetting to check his tech points, so I'm glad that I had done the math correctly like an hour before or whenever I last actually looked, so hooray!
So the one difference that you did have, Batsy, compared to N was that you stuck with Chrono, whereas N ran the Magus and Blue Rock team. So what was your reasoning for going with Chrono for this run?
Well, given that I hadn't found, when I got Magus, I already had Luca and Marl, and I tend to like to balance my teams a little bit, so the reason I kept Chrono was in hopes he would get confused, but like, I should freaking know by now that like the tournament curse is still active, so Chrono is not going to get confused in his first 6 or even 7, but like not even 6 either, and like, so I was just like, well, that was probably like not the call, but I'm committed now, and it worked out in the end. I guess it was a little slower, but
Yep.
yeah. I mean, I think if I'd had the presence of mind to go look at the back of Kath character, that I didn't want to be Frog, earlier, then maybe I would have like used Robo or something.
Well, you both knew that Ayla was in the burrow, and after finding everything else, it's clear that Frog was in Protodome, behind the pendant, which was the go mode item for this seed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep. Indeed. But
Yeah, when I saw that
yeah.
Robo had, I think it was first tech laser spin, I'm just like, whatever, let's do this. So I was, although thankful that we didn't really run into something like Ret Knight when it was still Marl, Luca, and Magus. So
Yeah. For
the
sure.
bosses were
sometimes
pretty friendly
you get
this
lucky with
seed.
with the boss pool.
They were like okay, like once I got Anti 3, great. But like before I got Anti 3, very worried. So I'm glad the bosses were kind.
Yep. I think the hardest two were the Guardian and Bits in the Guardia basement spot, and then Golem at the top of Mount Woe.
Oh yeah, that golem got me once because I should have started with fire if I was paying attention, but you know, it's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I was worried because I did take a wipe on Mount Woe to the gargoyles and had to
Ooh,
start all the way back at the entrance. So
ouch, yeah.
I got outsped even though Luca was speed 14. I
Yeah,
think
they can do that. Like they're fast.
maybe that's the difference between having the battle speed at 1 or at 3. You get that extra half second of getting into the tech window
Yeah, I
before
mean,
the opponent's trigger.
I play on 3 because my hands are like a little bit janky, so like I'm never gonna have like the very fastest button speed, but even then, like they get me on 14 sometimes. Not most of the time, but they will get you. They can. Like, they're fast.
Well, GG's to both of you. This has been a fantastic run for our Alphador tournament. So I'm all in. We'll move to the top of the winners bracket, and Lord Batsy,
Yay.
you get to face off against Nate again.
I know. Crap. He's probably due a win because I beat him last time. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm kidding about the crap part. If he wins, then, like, serious GG's to him.
So we'll see when you guys schedule your match, but we've still got a little bit more of this tournament left to go. Thanks you everyone for hanging out. Any final words from our runners before we close us out?
Gosh. That's about it. That was a long one, so I just need to like rest. But thank you for being here on staff tonight. Hopefully it wasn't too bad being alone.
Finding an early go mode made it a lot easier. But the early game, fortunately, I had chat helping me out, keeping track of items and locations and keeping me honest. So really, kudos to chat for being a great audience today.
Thanks, chat.
Thank you again to both of our runners. Check out Lord Batsy and I'm All In on their respective Twitch channels. Check out our Jets of Time Discord community, which we've linked in chat, and we'll do probably one more time. We talked about Gato Cup. Thanks again to SpeedGaming for hosting us. And if there's nothing else, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you for more runs, more SpeedGaming, and more everything else.
All right. Good night.
All right. Thanks.